which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Guess we just jump right into the approval of the agenda at all?
No,
Okay.
this is pretty informal tonight, we're gonna hit the highlights, and you guys ask me questions, as we go along, and if the public has questions, let's ask them while we're in the category, so I don't have to go flipping pages at the end.
Do you have copies of the budget for people to look at?
No, draft budgets are not allowed to be dispersed until the board approves.
Because it would be beneficial if you had something on the screen so we could have a better,
Draft
able to
budget-
follow.
draft
No, but,
budgets are
you know,
not
because we're
public.
talking about things, but it's easier to follow if you can see, look at something.
Okay, so revenue, your tax rate remains at 4.1 mils, that's 2.6 mils for the general fund, 1 for the fire, and a half for the EMS. Changes to the better for revenue, you will eventually get a assessment change for Hebe's because they're building that warehouse, the Maidencreek warehouse, and the Joe Jazz building. Those are all 3 big industrial projects, but you probably won't see the full amount for 26. You'll just see an interim tax in all likelihood. But interims are being done a little different at the county for the last few years, so that may not even hit until the very end of 2026. But know that in 2027, you should get the full effect of those new assessments. The downsides of the assessments is that a lot of people are appealing them, and I get it, but what people don't understand is that it takes what it takes to run the township. So there were 3 pages of assessment reductions. Berks County sincerely needs to do something with reassessing. Because there are people out there who are paying $500,000, $600,000 for homes, and they're being assessed $250,000. So that's not a problem for us to solve, but understand that I think that's gonna continue to get worse until the county makes a decision to reassess. Real estate transfer, we think that's going to increase this coming year as well, because we have those 14 new houses being built in Onawani Heights. They're all under construction right now, and I would expect, half of them are under construction right now, but I would expect all of them to sell in 26. The LST tax, the warehouse is gonna bring in approximately 550 employees on 3 shifts. They probably will be operational by June, so you'll have half a year of getting that East Penn Manufacturing LST tax, which will probably be about $12,000 to $13,000, depending on when they actually open and who's transferred there when. Then next year you'll see the full 25 to 26,000 additional in the LST tax. We don't expect the Hebe's warehouse, I think when he brought the plan in, he said 2 employees because that's all about internet sales. And the Joe Jazz, I'm not sure how many employees they have, but it's his facility that is in Muhlenberg. He's moving over. It's nowhere near as big as that warehouse. We do expect to get some fee in lieu of open space for the crossings. They've submitted plans yesterday, and if they get approval December, January, do site improvement, they could build maybe 3 to 5 houses by the end of next year. Fee in lieu of open space is paid at the time of building permit application, and that's $750 a home, and there's 40 homes in there. So Park and Rec should see some revenue from 26, probably through 29. Those are the highlights on revenue. Were there anything that the board didn't understand?
Some that I don't understand, I guess, I know one thing when those county folk came in to talk to us, it was talking about the gaming systems that are in town.
Yeah, they have done nothing on that. No. I did ask them for the ordinance that they were talking about, and then they said they didn't have one. So that was a dead end. And then we did get a PSATS notice maybe today that nothing passed in the assembly on the gaming systems. So for now, that's a dead issue. Your recycling assessment is $133.25 a household. You do not tax parcels that don't have a house on it, or they're industrial, or they're a business. You only are taxing the recycling fee on households that use a recycling service. You are developing a little bit of a cushion, and I think that you could reduce that. And I would recommend 110 a household. So we should lower that in the coming tax year. Any questions from the audience on any of that? Okay. So then we move on to expenses.
If we used earlier about recycling,
What's that?
is that gonna affect that?
No, I think you have enough of a cushion.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll go on to the 400 expenses. These are general government expenses, your board of supervisors, the building, advertising, printing, dues and subscriptions, all of our technology, our engineering, and our legal. Of note there, we have a new rate for a new supervisor that was adopted by ordinance. I have included in here a salary for a manager. You could move that to treasurer if you decide that you wanna hire a treasurer. But, my portion of it, my admin fee, I did lower, cause I do not expect to be here for the entire year next year. Building capital projects is what I left blank. Last year, what we did was, we moved bond money into the budget for the general fund, and then put a line item for building capital projects. We can do that again if you would like, or we could do a separate, budget for the bond. Doesn't matter to me which way we do it. I did prepare this today for you. It shows you, the items that are completed for the bond, the items that are still earmarked and are in progress, and those that we haven't done anything with. So Cornerstone Bridge, we've spent $42,374. That was on, Burke surveying, the electric for Med Ed to move it, which they have not yet done, and a study with Earth Engineering. So there is $407,625 yet remaining in the earmark for the Cornerstone Drive Bridge. You had originally said you wanted to do the box culvert at the community park for $55,000, repair Chestnut Street for $50,000, and do something with stormwater in Melrose Place for $450,000. Of those projects, I have been hearing throughout the year that maybe Chestnut Street is not.
I'm still thinking about shutting it down altogether. I think that's gonna be an ongoing nightmare no matter how we go and redo it. And, it's failing, so,
Do you wanna leave the earmark in there?
yeah, I'm okay leaving it in for now. I think there's still gonna be some engineering costs regardless of what we gotta do there, so. I don't think it's just gonna be shutting it down. We're gonna have to tear it out and probably restore it back to some kind of revetment in there. The community park box culvert at the bottom of that's the one at the bottom of the park. I'm thinking at this point right now, it is what it is. I think that can come out. Do you agree?
Alright, so we'll remove the box culvert project. Then under equipment, we have left yet a pickup, we had 30,000 earmarked, that's probably low. And a mowing tractor for 250,000, and a bucket truck for 125,000. Those are the three items left, and Keith, what did you tell me you were thinking about today, the snowplow? The blower?
Yes, I mean, if I can chime in on a little bit this here, I mean, as far as the bucket truck would go, I would say maybe just hold off on that. Cause what I think you guys should look at is at some point when we get our next truck, we get the hook and go system. Because now you Swiss Army knife of everything.
Did they make a bucket for that?
For what?
For the hook and go? Did they put a bucket on the platform?
You'd be surprised
And
when
it goes tall? So the reason I'm questioning is because I was looking at like like a used All-Tech truck or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to a bucket truck, because I didn't even use it, but I'm saying if, instead of the 120 there, if you're gonna invest in a new truck at some point, why don't you get everything that, whatever you need. If you need to go do street lights, hook your bucket up and go there. If you're chipping trees, hook your box up and go with there. That'd be my suggestion. And as far as a snow blower, we have talked about a snow blower for years, and it's usually after a big storm is when we always talk about it. I mean, it would be a luxury, because you may use it once and then you wait 5 years for it, but I mean, it's something that I would ask that you just consider. I mean, if not,
For all the tractors.
I would say get it for either your backhoe or your loader, because that way you're mobile. If you need to go to this here, because if you go get it for a skid loader, they're gonna be smaller, and you're still have the trailer to where you gotta go.
Yeah.
Where if you have it in a loader, you're just going to Hope Road, or you're going behind the lake, and you're just doing that, so. But if that's something you guys wanna entertain, I can definitely get some prices. I mean, you're probably looking for something in a loader or backhoe size, upwards of $20,000.
And it'll never snow.
I agree with that, that is fine.
That's
If
fine.
that prevents snow from flying, great.
We're looking at this, yeah.
But I agree, I don't think 30,000, from what I've been looking and trying to find for a pickup truck, your even used ones are 45. I mean, that's, you can find some that are 30 grand, but they're well beaten. So,
So, what do you think? Should we put it up 55, just to be safe?
yeah, I would do that, because we're moving the 55 from the box culvert project, so
Right, okay.
still allows some float there.
Adding a snow blower, increasing the pickup. What about the mowing tractor? Is that something we're still interested in?
Well, that was through that grant.
That had your dig, so.
Yeah.
Jane did contact me, and
Oh.
the grant is supposed to reopen next year. Hopefully DEP has the money for it, so if we would do it, you would not receive the money until 2027 though.
Okay,
Could
so
buy
help
ahead.
me out with the grants again, because I was getting confused.
So this is a recycling grant, so
And that's for the hydro dig.
For the hydro
The leaf back was something different, correct?
the leaf back could be put on the same grant.
Oh,
So
the same grant.
anything that
Oh.
is 100% recycling, DEP will pay 90%. So the leaf back would be a 90%.
Oh.
The hydro dig, we would have to tell them how many hours we thought we would
We
use
use
it.
it for recycling, okay.
And probably that would be less than 50%.
Yeah.
But like I said, 2027, we can't buy until we know we got it or we didn't.
Holy smoke.
Yeah,
Is that
sorry.
what the price was on the hydro dig? 250?
Yeah.
I knew it was up there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's equipment. Building, the only thing we finished was the salt and storage sheds, and we came in about $91,000 under the budgeted cost of $300,000. We still have the maintenance shop at 1.6 million, removing the gas and diesel pumps for 100,000, and office expansion / renovation for $1 million. And then under roads, we have replacing wooden streetlight poles for 50,000, upgrading street index signs, we did some of it, so we probably have a little more than 35,000 left in that budget item. And we did the generator at Park in 73, but we also added the preemption system, so we did go over what we thought we were gonna spend there. But all in all, in addition, you bought a cold planer, which wasn't in the original budget, a skid loader, the iPads, did the recycling center upgrades, bought a playground for Onalani Heights. So you spent 800,000 to date. You got interest of $334,937. So really, you're still well within your spending. You do have a little bit of excess that's not been budgeted, about 190,000. The only project that I could see that didn't make it in here was that West Walnut Tree cleanout. And that cost in the grant, that we still haven't heard anything on either, was $352,000. So if you get the grant, you can move that in there as well. And then, because I'm sure the grant would be partial. And as we have other items that have savings, maybe, it can be fully funded. So
Yeah.
that's how your bond looks.
I think it's nice having a surplus there, because my concern is the office expansion and renovation. I know we have $1 million set aside to do renovating this building, but, things aren't getting any cheaper anytime soon, and renovations always cost significantly more than anybody thinks when you start opening walls up and seeing what's going on. One thing that, when I did the plans, I didn't do anything with the restrooms, that's gonna have to get looked at, so restrooms and kitchens are expensive, no matter if it's commercial or residential, so. I would like to think we could complete it for under $1 million, but, yeah, I think I'm okay having that surplus for now.
I had a question on the bond, before we leave this. You proposed $450,000 for Melrose Place stormwater. What is that supposed to be for exactly?
We don't have a plan.
Yeah, there isn't any really right now.
We have not done a lot of work on this. The initial thought was to do detention basins. We have not been able to acquire the land that we need to do that. We have looked above the railroad track, that also is not going to work because of the topography. So at the moment, we just have the money there, and it's a project that the engineer is gonna have to continue to work on.
Okay, because there continues to be a problem with this Willow Creek stream, as you've known, and,
We're not going through this today.
well, I'm gonna bring it up because you're talking about the budget.
That's
No, this
fine.
is an important point, because there's a lot of erosion,
And
sedimentation
I told you at our
that's occurring
meeting
on
that
township-owned
we can't even
property.
discuss it because of what's going on with the attorneys right now,
Wait, this is
so.
a budget meeting, we're not talking about legal
Yeah.
discussions, this is talking about money.
We're moving
In the
on.
effort to do
This
this.
is my meeting, I'm on the meeting.
No, I know you're,
the
and this
topic
is
has been
public
brought up.
comment about what you have on the budget, so if you don't like it,
It's
I
not
haven't.
on the budget.
I haven't, well, that's, I'm talking to you about, you're talking about spending stormwater money here, and for storm renovations or improvements
In a
or whatever
different
remediation it might be, so this is
Mhm.
the issue on that. The other question I have is about the manager's salary. How much is the manager's salary for 2026?
I put $90,000 in. You're not gonna get somebody that knows what they're doing for much less.
And are you planning on leaving sometime next year?
I am.
What month is that?
Excuse me?
When is that next year?
When I decide.
Yeah, that's not pertinent to the
That's-
budget.
Well, it is, because it impacts how much money
It's
is
not.
allocated
No.
for it. Well, because you're talking about
We're gonna
part-time
hire
or
another one.
full-time?
Again,
Is it a full-time position or a part-time position in your budget next year
it's full-time,
for the manager?
sure.
90,000.
Yeah, it better be.
Because the current manager is part-time, correct?
That's correct, but I've been doing this for 25 years and I know the township like the back of my hand. It won't be that easy for somebody new.
I'm not suggesting that it's an easy job. I'm asking how much was allocated and whether you're part-time and full-time, and now you've answered that, so fine.
All right, so I don't have anything else under the 400. We'll keep the building capital out and we'll just continue with the bond spreadsheet if that works
Yeah,
for
that's
you
fine.
guys.
Yeah.
I think it is less confusing
Yeah.
than moving it all over the place. So next we have police and recycling. Police is a 14% increase. We are not sure unless you know from Monday night what would be the excess left at the end of the year. But I think,
Yeah, she would say.
okay, she won't know to the next meeting. But we had decided that instead of them cutting us a check, they're going to apply it to the January payment. So, Leesport does prefer it that way, and I don't mind it that way. 911 dispatching probably will increase slightly, but they still haven't given us that number. Under animal control, we have put in $1,500 to do a trap, neuter, and release program for cats with,
No nonsense.
no nonsense neutering, thank you. It would be a $40 voucher that the resident would get after they took a feral cat in to be neutered, and hopefully that will control some of this population.
It's about
That's-
38 cats.
See how it goes, see if people use it, and
Did
you
they-
can always increase it.
Did they offer you a lower rate if,
I thought $40 was pretty good.
so,
That's a
well,
typical, that's what it is for the public, it's $40.
well, so that gentleman that I spoke to, he said that if you sign some contract at the beginning of the year, that they would do it for a lower price, but they didn't offer you that? Or you didn't discuss it that
I
far?
didn't discuss it that far,
Okay.
but we can, absolutely. Under this, fire, we maintained the same rate. Danny provided me with, things that, large equipment that was going to be upgraded. Danny, did you wanna say anything about?
Yeah, the only thing I have to add to that list is, Dave and Diane will know, years ago when Berks County upgraded their radio system, we were forced to, the municipalities were forced to fork up money for the portables. Well, that's gonna happen again.
Is it really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
right now, currently, our radios are obsolete. We can't get parts for them anymore. And in the near future, they're gonna do an upgrade, and then portables are $8,000 a piece. So just for the fire service, it would be $280,000. Now, last time, the county did get a grant for some of that, and then the municipalities were responsible for the rest. So that would mean the EMS and police would have to get upgrades too.
Yeah, but I don't understand with that. You know, the police have the computers in the cars, and they have a program for that they plan on every so often they have to replace them. I believe it's every 4 years, 5 years, something like that. Why don't they at least go to the municipalities and try to work something out that way, so that they can stay on top of things? I mean, that wasn't that long ago that we got those radios, and already there's no parts for them? I mean, that's a little
Yeah, I don't
ridiculous.
remember the exact year that we got them, but, yeah,
It's within the last 12 years.
oh, yeah,
I think it was
easily,
2012.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's irresponsible of the county, quite honestly. They're the
So,
ones telling you, you've gotta go with that radio that they choose.
yeah, and right now, we're tied to Motorola,
Right.
so, the zone one, which we're in for fire companies, we're sending a letter to the county commissioners requesting, allowing us to get other quotes from other suppliers, like Ken would be a lot cheaper,
Absolutely.
but right now, we're not allowed to do that.
Mhm.
So maybe somewhere down the line, we'll ask the township to also write a letter, once we get closer to that point, to allow them to let us get bids from other suppliers.
When did you say this is supposed to hit?
Well, there's no I'm gonna say
2 years.
maybe 2 years, so
Plan for,
28, maybe this will probably go live.
gotcha.
But right now, we can't get parts for our radios. So if one goes down, that means we're gonna have to pay, obviously, $8,000 to get that replaced.
With hopefully what they're making you go to.
Yeah, so we bought 6 new radios. That way, if something bad happens, we will still have communications. So all our officers have the new radios. Why we didn't buy these radios from the get-go, because they were available, it obviously comes down to money,
Right.
so.
And then the last time this happened, for the ones that weren't here, the county did a financing plan, and it was 5 years, and they did a separate one for fire and EMS, but the townships had to sign and had to do the payments. They didn't care where the money came from, but the township had to be the one responsible and the one that had to buy the radios, and I would fully
From the town.
expect that they would do that same thing again. Yeah, we had promissory notes, and that's how that happened.
I wonder if that works like a car loan, or if the county gets kicked back off the fund.
a
Anyway.
contract with Motorola for everything, because Motorola hooked up to everything.
Mhm.
And it was proprietary, I think is the word they used.
All right, Danny, thank you for that
Yeah.
excellent news, but it's good to know for the future. Recycling. So Eric has been reviewing the documents. It is possible that your low bidder did not have everything in the packet that needed to be in there. He is looking at the law currently. So if it is the case, you will have to rescind your motion at the next meeting and award to the next lowest bidder, which still isn't as high as what you paid, for 2025. So you're still gonna be okay there. But there are some issues with the bid, the way it looks. I've got an EMS and a fire worksheet. The EMS, Steve Obella, how he wants to run this is he wants to take this money and put it in an account for capital equipment. So he doesn't really have any kind of budget items, it's just all going to go, besides the 911 cost, is going to go for capital equipment for him. And then the recycling budget, like I said, we're going to go with the reduced fee, I believe that's what I would say, $110 per household.
Is there a letter for Steve, or no?
No,
Oh,
he didn't provide a letter.
So I was looking at this, line fire, for this figure in.
Yeah, and what happens with the fire tax is that we put it in, we hold it, Danny submits bills that he's already paid
Right.
every month, and then we reimburse the fire company. You don't have to do it that way, but I think it's been working out pretty well.
Yeah.
And if the fire company ever wants to change it, they should come in and tell you that.
I'm fine with that.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
And I get to see you once a month, so.
Yeah.
That's all I really had for fire, EMS, and recycling. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay. Road crew. So in order to make this year's budget work and not raise taxes in the general fund, I moved signs, streetlights, and stormwater into the state liquid fuel account. It's perfectly legal, we've done it from time to time. Streetlights cost this township over $100,000 a year. At some point in the future, to be more fair, you could do a streetlight tax. Because there are sections of this township that don't have streetlights, but yet, since it's paid out of the general fund, they in effect pay for streetlights they don't have. So it's something you wanna think about. It's not always an easy thing to figure out, and there's formulas. But just keep it in mind, as the electric prices continue to go up, these are not metered lights, so it's a flat rate. And they're saying that we could see a 5 to 9% increase in electric costs this year.
Is there any update or anything at all? I thought UGI was looking to switch us over to LEDs at some point.
Med-Ed, we are on their list of townships to switch to LED. And that's only on their own lights that they'll do for free. And as we are getting lights that need to be replaced, then Keith is switching them out to LED. And once we have a whole development done, then they'll come in and look at that. And then we get a different rate. It's not a great rate, is my understanding. I haven't talked to them recently about it, but we're in the queue. I just don't know how many people are ahead of us.
Yeah, but so I know this Shuey has some, I think Eastwood has some, Fleetwood I thought switched all over LED. But I'm just curious what,
We have
They're
lots
brighter
of lights.
yeah, obnoxious sometimes.
And there's 2 lights on 61 in Shoemakersville that are blue.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. They do say that that is what happens to them when they start to go, but I don't know if that's you for
They've
fact.
been that way for years.
They've been that way for a while.
I will say one nice thing, this has nothing to do with anything but this topic. When I had to go to San Ramon for work, their lights as you approach them with your vehicle, they brighten up, and as you go past them, they dim down to 50%. Pretty slick one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there are things like
Mm.
cities do have smart streetlights, and
Yeah.
we're just not there. I think
No,
that would
it's-
cost
We're not
more than
that
what we're
smart.
saying. We're not that
It
tech
was
savvy.
weird, because if you look in the rearview mirror as you go through, you see them start dimming back out, like a zipper.
Not much has changed in this budget. Obviously, the road crew is under a union contract, so wages have gone up, and this is the last year of the contract, 26, so it's a 5% increase, which is pretty good, because I read today that looks like cost of living is about 3. So next year, we do have to negotiate a union contract. Yeah.
The other thing, sorry, kind
That's
of
okay.
ties to this, but ties to the bond, is one thing that's really not included in there, and there's some, they're not major pieces of equipment, but some pieces of, like the lift, we wanna put a lift in the maintenance bay, there's some things in there that, you know, are gonna probably total up to a certain dollar amount, but again, I'm okay with leaving the excess the way it is right now, and, you know, we can kinda go with it after the fact. It probably won't happen anyway, till probably after next year.
That's not part of the maintenance on the building.
The 1.6 million, the lift,
That's, I think, was allocated for the garage.
just the building.
I don't think
What
it's gonna,
about the wash bay?
I don't think it's gonna, we're gonna keep everything the same over here. Wash bay's gonna stay, we already changed doors. The renovations to our building, which some of this stuff the road crew is able and capable of doing themselves, like the extension to the garage. Really, the garage across the street is gonna be just that, a garage, just gonna be some place to put the trucks and equipment, get them out of the weather. So I think the 1.6 is plenty high, so yes, it probably could be whatever, and, you know, outfitting, making sure it has air compressor and all that stuff. You know, so I guess that would be part of that there, so. Yeah, I don't remember what the building cost was from them, but I think the building kit was well under $1 million.
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember the total price on it though.
Yeah, that's too long ago.
Yeah.
But I'll get that for you,
Okay.
because I know Dawn would probably be interested in that.
Mm.
The state liquid fuel budget kind of melds into this, and this is where you would be paying for the majority of your road work out of.
Mhm.
Keith, do you have an idea of what you want to do road-wise?
Yes.
Just a quick question before we leave. The fuel pumps that we have now, was there anything allocated for repair or replacement?
There's $100,000 in the bond
Okay,
to move them, and I would say we're gonna need to replace them.
We're gonna need to replace them, but you're gonna have to call tomorrow.
I will.
I just found this today.
Uh-oh.
I sent it to Keith.
because I guess the guy was saying that there's some, there's potential for major issues if we don't do anything.
How many
Yes,
gallons?
you bring them in.
How many gallons is each side,
1,000.
on each side? That's 2,000. Okay, so I don't think we need 4 cooks, it has D-rings on it, we can move with the loader if we need to.
I think so,
So these are double jacketed tanks, made in Lancaster. For a 1,000-gallon tank without fork pockets, $1,900. That does not include the pumps or anything like that, but they do say that pumps are additional, 115 volt electric, no meter, $600, manual's $350, with a meter, without it's $260. So for a plug-in pump, $600, so we could be into a 1,000-gallon, they go on up to 2,000 gallon, but they're one big tank. But if we got 2,000-gallon tanks, one for gas and one for diesel, then we'll be in good shape, even if we add the electric pump to it. It's not gonna be that fancy other pump that you got, but we don't have a fancy one.
As long as it fills the trucks up, it don't matter.
So, but anyway, yeah, I think it's probably some Amish welder. It sounds ridiculous.
We're gonna find out tomorrow.
Yeah, and make sure we find out if they're DEP approved.
Sure.
Because
Okay.
we're gonna have to comply.
Yeah.
Okay. Road work.
Okay, here's, I'm gonna give you a list of roads, you can choose to, get prices on all of them, you can take some out, it doesn't matter, but these are the ones that I think that you should kind of look at. Hill, from Treetops all the way to, Park Road, and including that Farview Circle, cause it's right into that. Coronet and Troy in Golden Manor, only because when you do have to pave that development, it's gonna be very expensive, so if we get ahead in some of those roads, those are the interior ones. Appian and Willow Gardens would be a good one to look at. The big ones here would be Buena Vista and Water Street. We could do, I know you guys are gonna do the bridge on Cornerstone, but you could do a section, and Diane, correct me if I'm wrong, the spot on Cornerstone from Spirit to Spirit is the oldest part of that development.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
So that road has seen years and years of stuff. And then my last one would be Cassidy Court from East Western to Wales Way. It's for some reason a section that we have not done. But I don't understand why, you can see it in the road. So, come paving time, we can get prices for all these, and you guys can kind of pick and choose as far as what you wanna spend that year.
Let's see what fits in the budget. We gave you $324,400 in the state liquid fuels, for road maintenance. There's a minor amount for some supplies in the general fund, but that's a pretty decent amount.
These are all, yeah, I'm not saying you should do all these.
No,
Yeah.
and we would look at doing, same thing we did on East Western, from Park down to the Bend, that overlay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd get prices for both of them and see what it comes out as.
Both of them meaning milling it down, like we're talking about.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to mill, like Coronet, Troy, Appian, those you're gonna have to mill, cause they're a road curve, you're not gonna wanna go over that.
Sure, yeah.
But like Hill and Farview and Buena Vista and Water, those, absolutely, even Cassidy, you could, there's no curves in there, so that we'll have to do the milling, that would cut out that price there, so. But there's always a mystery of what the prices are gonna be next year.
Sure.
That's right. But the earlier we do it, the better we get.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do what we did in Limestone Village anymore, correct?
We are
We're
not.
done with that process. Excellent.
We will not, this will be strictly paving.
Okay. Not that it wasn't a cost-saving measure, but it really did turn out
But
very
I've had a
nice.
lot of residents actually, even up farther on East Western, come out and they were talking, they said even, in the wintertime, when it freezes and stuff and it lifts, it's holding up real good, you don't see any kind of cracking in it, it's weird how it meshes back together when it sinks back down on East Western, so.
Yeah.
So,
All right, that's all I had for roads. Was there anything else that you wanted to discuss? We did load up our salt. We did have a truck driver tear the new salt shed. So we are getting a quote for a new tarp. And his insurance company will either cover it or
For
he will
some
cover it.
reason, he decided to back close to the wall and put his bed up. In that whole big building, why he decided to do that?
Was it a trailer?
no.
No, it was a triaxle.
Triaxle.
Yeah,
He admitted to it,
Yeah,
I
he
asked
did.
Steve right away. I thought with all the wind we had, maybe someone neighborly junk flew into it or something and tore it, and then he's like, no, definitely was a truck, and yeah, he was tied up against the wall when he lifted it, what he said, his tarp, he didn't have his tarp all the way down.
That's what he said, is his tarp wasn't all the way down, that's what caught it, which I guess is still the point, why were you that close to the wall? The building's huge, go in the middle. But it is what it is, it's done.
So we'll patch it, and then in the spring we'll get a new one, and it should be no cost to us.
And then next time we get salt, we're gonna make sure we put equipment along the side of the wall. Squeeze in there and hit it.
Yeah, that would be good. All right, that's all I had for roads. Park and Rec is next. Like I said, they're gonna be getting some fee and lieu of money.
Oh, did we, I'm sorry, we're going back to it. So crossing guard on here, that's still gonna be pushed by the school, even though no one crosses the road anymore?
Yeah, the school won't relinquish that. We have asked, and they said, no, we absolutely need one.
Does Fleetwood Road pay for their crossing guards?
They do, and they have a lot more.
Yeah, I know, that's why I was just curious.
Where is their crossing guard?
Right at Andrew Mayor's entrance,
Oh, 73.
73.
Yeah.
Someone stands out there.
Usually they sit in a truck.
Yeah.
They're
They're standing out there.
just walking, but, they're there for
Babysitting
safety.
service.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'm good.
Okay, you're good? All right. Park and recreation, the library has asked for an additional $2,000. I did not put that in here because I didn't know how you felt, but we can make it work if you want to do that. So they wanna go up to $17,000 a year.
I'm okay with it.
And it's more a matter of, the county has put regulations in place that we have to donate a certain amount for them to get full funding. Now, I know Lee said, God bless her, that Fleetwood gives $48,000. It's not cash. They don't, and they never have.
In
It's
kind.
in kind. So rental of the building, payment of the electric,
Which you're paying anyway.
right? So it's a little different, but it is still $48,000 on the books.
And the way it sounded, we have a lot of people that are using it for Maidencreek.
We always have.
I wouldn't have a problem with that either. And I think it's a valuable asset to have.
My kids use it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll increase that. Aaron provided, budget to come out of the Park and Rec Fund. They want to refurbish the Glen and Ballfield lights, $21,000. Repair the trail at the community park, $15,000. And we're gonna try vending machines, but we're gonna try to find somebody that has their own.
I think that would be the best solution. Yeah, that would be pretty much no out of cost to us except for electricity.
Vending machines at the park.
Under the pavilion there. Yeah.
So maybe like water and Gatorade for
Yeah.
the pickleball and the baseball players, you know.
Passive income.
You know that, and she's gonna be here, but I know Connie Denver's comes over there, if it's, sometimes they're under the pavilion and stuff,
Mhm.
bring the kids over.
Yep.
Run some energy out, I guess.
Right.
But
Oh, the market's
I'm
huge.
not
Yeah,
worried
they
about
get used.
vandalism.
Well,
It's a
that's where.
concern.
Yeah.
That's why we don't wanna own them.
But if a vendor wants to supply it and.
Ain't hard.
I mean, well, it's security cameras,
Yeah.
so, yeah. it's
Yeah.
camera,
Yeah.
It's not like we could, and
Yeah.
the new system will be in place by then, so.
Yeah, and I think if I asked Keith to learn how to fix vending machines yet on top of everything else I asked him to do, he might take that early retirement.
They supply them, they maintain them, you
Yep.
don't have to worry about it.
Right.
It's an idea, I don't think it's a bad idea, throw it out there, if we have any takers on, it, fine.
Yeah.
If not, no harm, no foul.
Maybe get better lighting at them, or?
Put 'em on
Lighting's
the
kinda,
lights.
We put them close to the light.
Yeah.
There, I think there's other lights over there.
It's just the pavilion lights and underneath the.
Yeah, under the soffit, though, there's some on that side there, I think.
not
Yeah.
at the stadium.
No. Just out of curiosity, fishing rodeo on here.
That's under the donation.
Yeah, when CMS was paving in front of the fire company for the UGI mess up, there was some interest on donations to that
Oh, really?
to help fund it. I was talking to one of the guys that must be one of the higher up guys there, and, he was disappointed to see the shape of the pond and know that it was kind of dying out. And, he was interested in possibly, I think, fronting the whole thing.
Cleaning that out?
No, paying for the rodeo.
Oh, well, that's,
Separate, I know, yeah, that's a DEP issue, cleaning that out, but,
yeah.
but as far as helping, something for the kids, they like doing stuff like that, fishing rodeos and stuff,
It costs us $6,000 a year.
yeah.
Is
To
that?
do the rodeo, okay. Yeah. Fishing cheap.
I thought that our $250 we were given was covering a lot. I'm not sure we're even buying a fish can.
No, it's $6,000 a year.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, fish trucks, stupid on it. I saw the,
So this is a lobster collection, right?
I think Mertztown Uncle spends like $23,000.
Wow, that's some serious money for fish.
They do big fundraising and all that.
Are they gold?
So,
I guess the idea for the upper loop is maybe some fitness equipment, we had looked at, I sent some information on a fitness court. I saw some neat outdoor musical instruments. Those are pretty cool. They actually are in the ground and like xylophone and horns and stuff.
They can talk through the tube or all.
Yeah, so we can find something interesting.
You're talking about next to the lords and ladies there?
Yeah. I wanna stay away from a pavilion there if we can, because it always has attracted trouble, because it is kinda secluded, easy to get to. So if we do something that's more of an active thing, that people are in it, but not sitting around and hanging out after dark. That's just my thought at the moment. I'm sure Park and Rec will come up with a lot of ideas. They're gonna do a movie night and they need some t-shirts for events, so their stuff is covered underneath their budget. There's no problem with that. And then the general items for maintenance and repair come out of the general fund budget for them. Years ago, we had a one-no tax for Park and Rec.
Right.
And over the years, it was reduced because supervisors ran on the idea of getting rid of that tax until, we put the fire tax in and they eliminated the Park and Rec tax completely, so. Now they're part of the general fund and they've got a fund of their own when they get fee in lieu of money. Less development, less money in the fee in lieu of account.
And we're now trying to, we're also earning income to help, with that as well, with the food trucks and other stuff like that, so we're
Yeah.
hopeful we can continue that. Next year I have most of the days booked already for food trucks for 26 already, so, yeah.
Yeah, Aaron's been a godsend in that regard. He's taken that all off my plate. He handles everything and he raised a significant amount of money. I really do appreciate all the work that you've been doing on that.
Thank you.
See,
Whole crew,
Yeah,
you guys all.
All the
Yeah.
volunteers as well, exactly. Yep, it's a very active Park and Rec board.
So thank you all.
we need to bring a car show back here.
we've been talking about it,
It was always a hot, long day.
I don't know how you're gonna do it anyway, because all the soccer fields have that, so you just aren't gonna get them in there,
Yeah.
which is,
It's nice that soccer's come back.
Yeah.
Ultimate
Mhm.
Frisbee,
Yep.
uses it.
Yep.
It's getting the use of the pickleball. I
Yep.
think vandalism has probably been cut in half since pickleball's
Yeah,
been in the park.
easily.
yeah.
that's good.
One thing that, it's not a huge expense for something like this, we gotta get that pole replaced for the batting cage.
Yeah, so I should get that down, Michael. Yeah, it's definitely.
Nice to leave a ladder against that batting cage.
Good for you, man. That was,
I didn't notice it.
that is loose.
Get Danny to come hang that up the ladder.
That's all I had for Park and Rec. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Nothing to the budget or anything now. No, that's just what we were looking at for next year.
Okay. So the last is the least interesting, but probably the most expensive things. We're gonna finish up the joint comp plan, so we have a little bit yet to pay on that. And then if the board decides that they like the joint comp plan, we'll have to adopt that by ordinance. So we'll have a public hearing, some advertising. The bond principal and interest comes to $364,275 next year. That is going to be steady now for the next 18 years, but you just have to remember that has to be done twice a year, half in June and half in December. And there's also a report that has to be done every year by September as well, and that's all in the office. And then the rest is our employment taxes, our pension contribution, which we are still overfunded. You would not have to contribute anything, but I do recommend you continue to at least put $10,000 in. Show goodwill to the employees, and if the market tanks, you're ahead of the game. Health insurance, you guys did a lot better than a lot of other municipalities. You're only 6.5% increase. Another municipality, 19.5% increase. Health
Do they
insurance is a pretty,
comparisons or?
you guys managed to get into this divot budget program while they were still taking small municipalities,
Right.
and that helps. Because you're in a pool, just like you're in a pool for your liability insurance. So that has helped keep the costs down. We are having trouble with the dental in that a lot of dentists aren't taking the Delta Dental anymore, so I have a call with them, with the insurance company on Thursday morning. To see what they have found out about that, if they're gonna switch anything for us. The answer that I got initially was, here's a list of dentists that are accepting it. So I'm not sure how successful we'll be. And we have the property insurance, liability insurance, workers' comp insurance. We pay workers' comp insurance for the fire company and the ambulance as well. Did see today in my PSATS flyer that PTSD is going to be covered under workman's compensation insurance for fire and EMS. That probably will drive the cost up in 2027. I'm hoping not 26, because I didn't get an increase notice, but I think in the next one, and that could be a significant increase. We're already at a point where a lot of insurance companies do not want to provide workman's comp insurance for municipalities because of the fire and EMS aspect of it. So the pool of suppliers for us there is very limited.
Just out of curiosity, and Danny, maybe you would know this, because some of the municipalities don't have fire service, they don't pay it. So you may wanna contact PSATs and make this one of the things that get voted on to try to force the municipalities that don't have it to join in the payment to the insurance programs that are covered by the fire companies and EMS companies that do cover. I mean, I hate to call it freeloading, but I'm gonna call it freeloading by a lot of municipalities that decide they just wanna try to do away with or not pay for services, and then everybody else covers their service. You know, in the police departments, usually our police back up other police officers, and our fire companies and ambulances do the same, but the municipalities that we're going to are paying that service too for police. Not all of them are paying it for fire and EMS. So, that may be something they wanna look at and try to force the hand of the state so that everybody's paying. And it goes the same with the animal control stuff. You know, we pay for animal control and somebody ends up dumping all their animals on us because they know we have it. You know, that's the same thing. And then the county could take all that under their wing and do it and cover it that way, the same they could do for 911 calls. And then everybody gets paid, billed the same. You know, somebody from, let's say, who?
Houses.
Yeah, let's use Alsus for example. They're not paying for that 911 service, they're not paying for fire service. Well, they are paying for fire service, but they're not paying for the 911, the companies that respond are. So, why shouldn't they? I mean, that's to cover your service when they give you that donation. That doesn't cover everything else. But if the county took it under their umbrella for animal control and fire and EMS and police, because it's a countywide service they wanna offer anyway, so why not take the countywide responsibility of billing as well? I mean, I think it would be more realistic. I mean, you know, it just would make better sense that way. However, every time I brought it up, the county doesn't wanna hear about it. You agree?
I agree, you're not wrong about that, I can't say anything else, I'll get in trouble.
I made zero friends by voicing that opinion.
Alright, is there anything that anybody wants to add in the way of a project? I mean, I don't have a lot of wiggle room here, but I might be able to squeeze a nickel out of a dime, or a dime out of a nickel, how would you say that? Anything you think that we missed that I'm gonna add 2,000 to the library. And that's really the only adjustment I think that we have, besides as to the bond chart.
I don't think so, no. I don't think anything detrimental is really necessary. I think we finally, I'm not saying ahead of the curve, but I think we're treading water when it comes to that, and if we have to take a light year, so be it. I think, you know, I think we're on track for the right things, the roads have been pretty good. Partially because we've been pretty good in winter time too, we haven't had any, knock on wood, massive winters, or we haven't had any massive storms, knock on wood.
If we were to have a massive storm, Keith, where are we at? I mean, how far ahead do you think we are prepared for?
With salt.
With salt.
Well, we just got it filled, I mean, that building's full.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's probably 700 ton of salt there.
Okay.
Like Keith said, when I was here, when they were, the last load dumped off, and, yeah, we had some left over from last year
Right.
still, plus what we got, and even Keith said, I don't think I've ever, well, we never have seen that
I've
amount of
never
salt, we
seen
didn't
that
have a
much salt.
facility to store it, so.
Right, so we could only store 200 ton before.
Yeah,
So now we've stored an entire winter.
yeah.
And it's beautiful. I don't like the fact that I know that salt can be bad or good, but it is beautiful salt. You should go out there and run it through your fingers. There's no clumps. It is.
How many tons we get?
500.
Yeah, plus another, what do we have left?
I said, you lower 700 ton in that building,
Yeah, it's all
easily,
right.
yeah.
Close.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
more prepared than we have ever been before, and
Yeah.
that's because of that larger salt.
Yeah.
It
So
was a
if
very
other
good
municipalities
purchase.
run out, can we sell it?
Well, we just paid 75 and some change of tons, so my going price, if we go by how it went last year, is 105 a ton. But,
No,
yeah,
it's good.
no, you are
We're
more
well stocked,
prepared
yeah.
than ever before.
Yeah.
And you've got the two newer, bigger trucks, and I think they're operational.
Everything's good, yeah, the spreader's running, everything's good there, plows are all
Oh, yeah.
functional.
If it would snow tomorrow, we'd be ready to go.
Don't say that.
Yeah, I know, I'm
Why
saying
did you
not
say
for
that?
wood, you know.
Snow tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that operation is very well done. You have started to accumulate the reserve that you once had. And so I think we'll end the year near the $500,000 mark for the reserve, which is what we promised the bonding company. And that's just a safety measure. So no tax increase, a recycling fee reduction, that's good news. I did this evening do this large sheet. I don't think you've ever seen this before, because when I pulled it out, it didn't look like it had been maintained. So this tells you, this is a financial monitoring report, and this is the last 10 years. I can actually go back probably to 2010, but I figured you only wanted to see 10 years. So it looks at your operating revenue and your expenditures, and gives you a revenue per capita, an expenditure per capita, and if you're positive or negative. And you always want your revenue to be more than your expenditures. So as you see, 22 and 23 were not good years for you. You overspent, but you did very well in 24, and you're coming back around. Same way with the operating position, you always want to be near one. And again, 2023, you were at 1.33, which meant that you were spending more than what you were bringing in. But almost every other year, you stayed near one or well below it. And so far for this year, we're at 0.84, so we're doing very well. And then your budget versus actual, 2024 is kind of skewed because you got that bond money in there, so that doesn't look too good, but again, you want your operating position to be near one. So if you can always, this is something good that you should continue to have your manager do and or your treasurer do going forward. And you want to keep that line, just keep it. And then the bottom one is your property assessed value, and it shows your increases. Obviously, 2020 and 2021 were bad years, with COVID. But in recent years, steadily increasing your assessment value at, about 0.2. That's probably, I wanna say the average of the last 4 years. Next year, you should see a big jump, because you're gonna get the warehouse, you're gonna get Heavy's reassessed, and you're gonna get Joe Jazz reassessed. I would say that those developments will bring more commercial development in the corridor. I think that's what you'll see, and I think you'll continue to develop that commercial as time goes on, because those properties have been sitting there for a while. I think it's gonna happen.
Does, Giorgio on Park, the main plant, the renovations they're doing and all that, is that gonna prompt a reassessment for them?
Yes, it should,
Probably not, see if we can
not
change.
as much as a new building.
Yeah.
And I did wanna tell you, the engineer that was working on the HOP for Giorgio had passed away. And they took a few months to get everything in, but it looks like that project is just about ready to be approved. They are asking for a letter. We originally approved their traffic plan.
Right.
PennDOT wants us to say in the letter that we approve the traffic control plan, and we are not going to hold PennDOT harmless for any damage to West Western Road, because that's part of the detour route. And do you guys have a problem with me saying that? I mean, how would we be able to tell if West Western Road was damaged? You know, with UGI cutting it out.
I think maybe we wanna talk to Eric about how we write that, so that if they do some, I hate to call it intentional damage, but,
Well, it wouldn't be from the detour, from the cars and
Yeah.
trucks using it. So I wouldn't think that would be intentional.
well, if
Maybe
they're
their
sending,
detour route should stay on the state route.
Well, you
Then they
can't,
can add a turning arrow for us.
you can't, because the people that live on West Western need to get on West Western, so.
well, I'm
So
thinking
West
they're
Western
sending
is
trucks.
closed at Park, so it's not for through traffic. The West Western part of the detour is only for people that live on
so
West
it's for the
Western.
cars.
We're gonna really figure that out, because UGI wants to shut down West Westerner from Park up to where they did for the fire company
Hmm.
to replace that gas main.
We cannot do that at the same time.
Nope.
That will not work. But they do have each other's contacts, and they're supposed to be keeping in contact, but this is a new engineer, so I'll reiterate that with him. Okay,
Other than that, there's no problem, just.
coordination, UGI. And that's Mario
Correct.
Gooties.
Correct.
Okay. Alright, that is all I had. If you think that there are no other changes, we can advertise it for the public on Thursday. I can make this change for the park and rec, for the donation, 2,000 more for the library. And then we can post it on the internet once it's advertised.
The bond list is separate from this, though, right? That was just the.
I would include it.
Yeah.
I would include it in the budget as, in the back of it. So
Everyone
there's,
will agree, you probably need a motion.
No, hang on, I'm still going back and forth on that pickup truck, that's gonna be enough for that truck.
55,000.
Cause we would wanna pick up, we still wanna do the utility bed on the back.
I don't think you really need a utility bed. I mean, we can do the standard pickup, just so you can throw a chainsaw or something in the back there is what we need.
Alright, let it 55 for now, cause I'll still keep my eye out for a used one somewhere.
Josh, what, a 250 were you looking at, or,
Yeah.
But-
Yeah,
cause the one that we're looking at is the 550, and that one is 26,
the brush truck?
the brush truck's just the back, for the new utility, just the F-550 is
Yeah.
$70,000. just to give you an,
Yeah,
an,
ballpark, yeah.
Paul,
Yeah, I never arrived there.
That's with your specialized equipment, right?
that's just for the
Just-
chassis,
That's with the chassis, oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, cause our 750 was 130, dump, the dump truck,
Yeah.
yeah, 131,000, yeah.
I think pickup trucks used to be the cheapest thing on the market.
Used to.
Not anymore.
I think my dad paid $8,000 for his.
I'll make a motion that we advertise the budget.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes.
We'll get it in the revenue for Thursday.
And that's what he's doing too.
Well, the state still hasn't changed that law, we're still required to do it.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Meeting adjourned, 7:06. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.